Let's take a look at the two-hander abilities. So Cleave did not get changed, but it got like the dot effect got the 20% damage boost. Then Uppercut, both morphs got kind of changed or swapped around, so Wrecking Blow no longer stuns, like knockbacks and stuns enemies. It only gives the Empower buff now. And DC Swing now stuns and knockbacks enemies, so you kind of have to choose between what you want in PvP. For PvE, Wrecking Blow is still better. But PvP, you don't get like... You can't just use Wrecking Blow, get the Empower and the stun knockback thingy, so you have to decide between those two now. Then... here... Let me get to Executioner. So this skill no longer increases the damage for your two-hander abilities on low health targets passively, so your Wrecking Blow will not get the 18% damage increase on low health enemies anymore. But what they did, they increased the overall damage. You see, it deals up to 350% more damage to enemies with less health. And again, it scales from 50% health. Before it used to be 300% if I remember correctly. Let me just use one of those. Now reverse slice. So what they did with this, they increased the splash damage percentage from this morph to 65%. Before it was on 44%. It's still like, probably still everybody will use Executioner, but we will see. Maybe someone will make it work. And then we have forward momentum. Rally is still the same, but forward momentum got a small buff, so they increased the duration of the snare and immobilization immunity from this morph to 8 seconds. Previous it was only 3.5 seconds, so it got quite a huge boost, which is cool. So now you still can get it from shuffle, you know, like the thingy, but it's only 3.5 seconds snare immunity. So maybe this is now not too bad. So those were already all the changes to the two-hander. Yes, many people will QQ about the Wrecking Blow changes, but I think it's a good change and a welcome change to get more balance, especially into PvP. And Executioner, yesterday in PvP, it seems to hit a lot harder. I'm not sure, but I have to do more testing. We will see. Anyway, let's get to One Hand and Shield. So One Hand and Shield, not a lot changed. Basically only change was to Power Bash. So now what they did, Power Bash, they increased the damage of this ability and its morphs by 85%, so it will deal a lot more damage. But it will no longer stun or disorient the enemies. I think, you know, like there was always issues with Reverberating Bash, broken CC, and I think they could not fix it, so they just removed the stun and the CC. Gave it another effect. And they also reduced the range from 7 meters to 5 meters. So Reverberating Bash, it still reduces like healing received, just no more stun or CC. And Power Slam, so what they did with this is, while slotted, blocking an attack will increase the damage of your next Power Slam by 25%. So this one got quite a nerf, no more stun, only either heal debuff or more damage on the next bash. Those are already all the changes to the One Hand and Shield abilities. So let's see what they changed with dual wield. A lot of stuff got changed. First off, Flurry. It used to have a 1.3 second channel time, now it's down to 0.6 seconds, making the Maelstrom daggers a lot more powerful, both in PvE and PvP, which is cool. So also instead of 6 hits you only get 5 hits in addition, so we will not do more damage, it's just the animation is faster. They removed the last big hit. Then as you see, the final hit still deals more damage though, so don't worry. And each hit increases the damage of the subsequent hit by 3%. So it used to be 2% if I remember correct, now it's 3. Then this one is kind of new, blood first, so heals you for a percentage of the damage caused by the final hit. So this could be quite nice for PvP if the heal is strong. Depending of course on your weapon damage. Then this one is unchanged. Yes, that's still 9 meters, so they didn't nerf it more. So let's see, Deadly Cloak, they changed something here, so they redesigned this more, so it no longer grants a thrown knife on activation, but now it increases the AoE damage by 70%. It's still not a lot, because it only hits every 3 seconds, but it's better than nothing, I guess. At least that's what I think. Then Hidden Blade, so what they did here is you get major brutality from this skill, right? So it only used to be 10 seconds and now it actually gives it to you for 20 seconds, which is nice. I really didn't know why it only was 10 seconds, that was weird. Then Shrouded Daggers got also changed a little bit. So like the 2 daggers that bounce off now deal 20% more damage per bounce, and they also increased the initial damage like by a flat damage for 50%. So basically it will deal a lot more damage than it did previously. So let me see. The dagger bounces up to 2 times to other nearby enemies, dealing almost 4k physical damage on the first bounce and 4.6k physical damage on the second bounce. So this is quite nice now. And you can bounce up to 2 additional enemies. Quite cool. Might be really cool to use in PvP now. Sadly it's only 20 meter range. Hidden Blade is more, 28. But anyway. So those are basically already the changes from the dual wield, the most important being this one here, because it only is 0.6 seconds now instead of 1.3 seconds. So if you don't have Maelstrom daggers, you better get started with farming. Now to the bow, so they also did a few changes. So first off, they increased the damage of the poison arrow and its morphs by 12%, so it's even stronger now. It's already pretty strong and they buff it more. I was quite surprised, but whatever. So arrow barrage still the same. Scorched Earth got changed into Endless Hail. So launch a multitude, let me get it to level 4. Launch a multitude of arrows into the sky to rain down, dealing almost 600 physical damage to enemies in the target area every 0.5 seconds for 10 seconds. So there is no more ground burning AoE effect. So basically Endless Hail has a 10-second duration but only a 5 meters radius. And let me get one of those scrolls. Arrow barrage has 8-second duration but a 7 meter range, so you kind of have to decide, do you want bigger range but a little bit less time, or do you want a smaller range but a little bit longer dot time. Then they changed the draining shot, so now it heals you after the disorient ends. This, let me show you. This actually looks quite cool. If it's this one, I think so. This looks kind of, I think it didn't used to look like this, but I'm not sure. I've never really used this. So it probably can heal you for quite an amount. It doesn't really say for how much it heals you, but I mean you can easily test that. So that's all I did from the bow skill line. They also did a small change to the restoration staff ability steadfast ward, so the healing ward. You can no longer... Ah, these motherfucking mobs, seriously. Why are you so angry, man? So, like this ability, you can no longer heal people through walls, like shield them through walls. That's the only change they made. So those were basically all the changes to the weapon skills. Again, it's the first patch of the PTS, so there might be a few changes incoming, but this is how it is at the moment. Okay, I will get up the Fighters Guild thingy as soon as possible, because there has been a lot of changes in here, and also to the Undaunted. Anyway, see you soon and thanks for watching. Cheers.